Hey there, my friends. This is Andy coming to you from Yorba Linda, California for the Andy Falco Show. And great to be back with you. My wife and I took a little vacation. It was outstanding. If you're ever in the Las Vegas area, make sure and go to Red Rock Calvary. It's a fantastic church that is very much involved in what's going on in their community, school boards, city council, just a fantastic group of people. So make sure and check that out. But it's been a crazy week as I've been getting more information, getting more screenshots sent to me, people calling me, texting me about these shameful activities at PYLUSD. Now, this is nothing new. This has been happening for quite a while, and I've been trying to do my best to bring as many of these things to you. But one thing I want to make sure and address that often comes up, it comes up in Carrie Buck's campaign social media posts and other people that attack me and others on a regular basis, is that this idea that we in particular, or Leandra or Todd or Sean when he was on the school board, are bringing politics to the school district. That there could not be anything further from the truth. And they love to say that because, as you know, the teachers union, the progressives, the left, the socialists, all the people that are involved in the destruction of PYLUSD, that is their attack because that is what they are bringing every second of every day to the school district. Everything that they talk about is what would be considered political, bringing and supporting men and girls sports, to wanting to put tampons in the boys' bathrooms, to DEI, to CRT. Those are all political speaking points. Those are all political. They have nothing to do with education. When I'm bringing up these things, what they hate is that I'm bringing it to your attention, that I am exposing what it is that they are doing. And so, of course, the first attack is, I can't believe they're getting political, or you're bringing up political nonsense to these arguments, when in fact, the exposing of it is to bring us back to a place of education. My hope and my dream of PYLUSD is to bring it to a place where kids are being taught how to read, write, count, and think. And great sports activities, sports is like the blood flow to many schools because it brings kids together for camaraderie and for a time of getting together at the football games. The Bell game, for instance, is one of the best activities that I go to, that my daughters have been on the cheerleading team, and my sons go and just love the atmosphere. And it's all the students coming together to root for their team. And of course, Eldo has been slaying Valencia High School for years, but even though that's been happening, it's still a great time. But that's just one example. The basketball games and the baseball games that people and the students go to. And so that is a big part. And these four women that I just showed you, Candace and Kim and Ellen Mary, and of course, Carrie Buck, who is the ringleader of all these people, they hate it. They want to destroy, especially girls' sports. And it's because of that fact that it brings the kids together and they have a good time and they enjoy themselves. They just cannot have that. They can't have kids that are learning and also have a camaraderie and activities that bring them all together. They love separation. That's why they love the racial aspect of everything that they're trying to bring with this to the school, separating kids from oppressors and oppressed, trying to claim that somebody of color is oppressed, and continually telling them that it is the oppressors that don't allow them to achieve, or the reason they don't need to take the tests and actually pass is because they're being oppressed. But that is in a way of separation. And the same thing with how they want to try to do their best to get parents to not be active in the school district. That's why they want you to vote against parents who are running. They can't stand parents being at the school board meetings or being candidates for the school board, because doing that would make parents more involved. and see what in fact it is they're doing. And then when we say, what happened to education? Now suddenly we're being political. That is the craziest thing on the planet, that we are fighting against the political things that Kim and Candace and Ellen Mary and Carrie Buck constantly bring up. And I'll also include Quintero and Anderson and all that. That their activities, these shameful activities, are all about the politics of the Democratic Party, because the teachers' unions are a PAC, a political action committee, for all these organizations that are involved in, say, for instance, the Wallace Foundation or the Swift Educational Center. These are activities in indoctrination, in keeping things political in our schools, which myself and Leandra and others, and including Dr. Chernus and Dr. Gates, they were trying to get back to education, because these people, all of these people that I named and others, wanted to keep the politics in the school district. And so them posting and saying, we want to get politics out, it's actually the opposite. So don't trust them when they say that. So sorry, that went much longer than what I wanted it to, but I just wanted to explain at least that attack that happens constantly. But we have some things I'm going to talk about, and that is Carrie Buck's email to the community to try to get children at PYLUSD to help her with her campaign, and local colleges like Cal State Fullerton University and probably Fullerton College, Chapman University. And she sends this email out, but she's used an email source that we believe is illegal in some ways. We're doing our best. I'm going to talk about that in just a little bit. We're going to talk about this Chris Lowe guy who's running, who nobody really cares about or knows why he's running. There's people that know him because in Placentia, apparently he was mayor over there for a little bit. But the reason he's running is he's not telling everybody the truth, and I'm going to share some of that. And then we have the gentleman who's running, Barrera, is that what his name is? Anyway, it'll come up and I'll be reminded. I just put some of these names out of my mind, but he's running against Sonia Shaw, and I'm going to share some of the things you need to know about him. So let's get to Carrie Buck's email that goes out, and I'm just going to share a portion of it, but it starts off with, hello, everyone. We trust that this email finds you well. Carrie Buck, a PYLUSD school board trustee, is running for re-election, and she has reached out to recruit interns. I've provided answers to some FAQs below. When and how long will the internship run? She has the dates there, how many hours, and then down at the bottom, what will the student's job description be? Phone banking, door-to-door canvassing, posting election signs, etc. So I'm going to share with you just the words. I'm not going to put them up the screen because there's people that are inside the walls of PYLUSD who just simply don't want to be exposed because, as I told you before, Kim said that she was going to kick anybody's ass who said anything about what was happening at PYLUSD, and other people at the level of Candace and Kim. Did I say Candace earlier? It was actually Kim who said that, according to my sources. But these people will make their lives miserable. And one of the things that I think it's important to hear from an insider who is just somebody who's on the inside, who may be supplying me with information, said that this email list that was used to send this out to PYLUSD, the PYLUSD community, says, I would assume it was the superintendent's office or Candace had student services run a query for her trustee area. So corrupt is what he uses. And for her to use unpaid student labor to advance her campaign is despicable. So this is from an insider who apparently is friends with some of these people. I laugh because I just know where some of these people work and what they're doing. But that is the basis for wondering where this email list came from that she's using. Where did she get it from? And I'm also wondering if Justin Aguirre, who's running, against Carrie if he asked for the very same email list, if it came from the school district, if they would give him that same list so that he could do the same thing. Would they do that? So if we could find out where it came from, what the list source is, would they allow Justin and Gary to have it also, so that out of equality, that they would allow him to use that? And so I just want to address now, the next thing here is this, what's it called again? Rapid response. So Carrie Buck puts this thing out that, welcome to my social media series, Rapid Response. I will not always be able to address the rumors and outrage circulating on social media, since those conversations are designed to draw an emotional response from voters. And so that's the one thing I just wanted to address, is that statement. Is that, again, they're using statements to accuse myself and others of trying to scare the community. Where I've never once said, I'm hoping that I'm going to scare you with this, or maybe I did say this should frighten you, so that there is a possibility that I have used those words. But what instead I really want to make sure you understand is that what we're doing is sharing facts and truth, so that you could be aware of what's happening in the school district and what it is that they are planning on doing and currently putting together a plan to do with this PYL promise. Is simply use, and this is for instance, an indoctrination system that was created by the Swift Education Center and the Wallace Foundation, that it's only about indoctrination and not about educating kids so that they can go out the world and be successful adults. That is not what the Wallace Foundation or Swift put together. It is, and the Wallace Foundation puts together a way of hiring people that will be able to effectively assure that these things can become part of the curriculum at PYLUSD, the CRT, the social emotional learning, the diversity, equity, inclusion, indoctrination, which no one, for the most part, across the United States, thinks should be in education. Many of them that are business owners don't think that it should be involved in business either. As much as they tried to do that and make it mandatory that businesses had to fall in line with CRT and DEI issues, they've all said, no, we're not doing that, we're refusing. But no, Carrie, Candace, Mary Ellen, and there's somebody that I'm missing there, Kim, they believe that that should be a core tenet of PYLUSD, not education. Because why? And I've said this before, they want the whole child. Carrie Buck said in the June school board meeting that she was happy that there was nothing about education in the PYL Promise Plan, but it was about the whole child. They want your whole child. And when I read to you what the person who's running for state superintendent, you'll understand even more that this comes from the top, and they are all part of the same group: the CTA, the NEA, the APLE. All these people are in the same camp of not education, and happy that education isn't a part of what they plan for PYLUSD. That making sure that they take the whole child from you, the parent. So back to this post that she put up about creating an emotional response. It may create an emotional response. You may get mad. You may be wondering what the hell happened to our schools. Who are these women and why are they doing this to our kids and to our families in the community? But it's the sharing of the truth that's the most important thing you must understand. Sharing the truth and the facts are important. They just want to intimidate us by using these other words as saying that we're getting political, or that we're trying to cause fear, or calling us racist names, or that we're homophobic, or what have you, is an effort to get us to stop sharing the truth and facts. So I'm hoping I'm making that clear so that you understand that what it is we're doing. You have to stop listening to PYL Buzz and Yorba Linda Moms and all these other groups within our community who are saying these things over and over again, because they are effective. They are getting people to believe that we're the ones bringing politics into the school district when we're not. We're trying to get it out. that we're trying to cause fear. We're not trying to cause fear. I'm trying to share facts so that you make a decision to either keep your kid in the school district or take them out. Or you show up at the school board meetings and tell them, hey, we're not going to accept this. We're not going to accept this nonsense that's going on. And that's what's most important. All right. So in the interest of time, I'm going to move on to the next subject, and that is this dude by the name of Chris Lowe. So you can see on this PYL Buzz website screenshot that I took is that he's got a green checkbox along with Barb Buckley and Carrie Buck. I don't even know who Barb Buckley is, but she's running against Todd Frazier, I guess. But if you have a green check from PYL Buzz and the teachers unions, then something's wrong. And you should know that. So understand that Chris Lowe is not a person who can be trusted because he simply just runs for things. He's not interested in bringing education to PYLUSD. He's just interested in holding the position of school board member so that he can say, I was a city council member, I was a school board member, and then as he runs for Congress or Senate or state representative or what have you, whatever it is that he has in the future, is that this can be on his resume. And then the other thing is understand that if he is getting a green checkbox from these folks, PYL Buzz in particular, that means he's not a conservative as he's claiming to be. He's trying to get endorsements from conservative organizations so that he can have the stamp or the appearance that he is conservative. He is not. So don't get fooled by him saying that he's conservative. I fell for this once before, and I'm ashamed, and I've admitted it, and I've told all of you before that I'm very sorry. But Marilyn Anderson came to me in the very early stages of running for school board and said, I'm a conservative and I'm going to fight for education. Once she got elected, little did I know that she was part of the, and I'm going to call them the swamp, just because that's a good name that I haven't used in a very long time, but she's part of this teachers union cabal. But she used the name conservative or the description of conservative to give everybody the impression that we were electing somebody that was going to care about education. And she did that. She lied to everybody. She lied to her church. She lied to her community. She lied to her neighbors. She cares nothing about education, as we've seen over the years. And again, I apologize. I did interview her. I did support her. And, I made a huge mistake. And I will not make that mistake again. Chris Lowe is Marilyn Anderson just in man's clothing, which is normal these days, I guess. But just understand that Chris Lowe is not a conservative. He is going to be somebody that's just going to go along with the puppeteer Carrie Buck and do whatever she says and get pressured by people like the teachers unions to do their bidding and to make sure that the Wallace Foundation and Swift Education Center agenda does get pushed through under the name PYL Promise. All right. So now let's bring you this next thing here. Richard Barrera. I think I got it right the first time. But he's running against Sonia Shaw. And from a Concerned Parent PRA, his current position in the state of California was revealed and how much he gets paid. So since 2024, he's worked as an assistant to Thurman, who is the current superintendent of education for the state of California. And Richard Barrera, as you can see there, he gets paid $15,914 a month plus a $50 stipend for telework. So essentially, he gets paid $16,000 a month to be an advisor, a senior policy advisor to the current education superintendent. And just so you know who he is, and you probably already know this, but I just might want to make you aware that in a deposition that I was also able to get a hold of, is that here he is in this deposition. I just wanted to show you this page because there's his name, because they ask, if you could please start off by stating and spelling your full name for the record, sir. And he says, Richard Barrera, and spells it out. And then later on in the interview, The question is on page PLT 275, CDE writes, the district court correctly found that parents do not have a constitutional right to be informed of their child's transgender identity or to give consent before a school may refer to a transgender child by their preferred name. And then the answer below, he says, yes, CD's position is that in the case of a forced outing policy, how ridiculous, such a policy violates a child's right to a child's constitutional rights. And then they ask, does the CDE currently believe that parents do not have a constitutional right to be informed of their child's transgender identity or to give consent before school may refer to a transgender child before their preferred name? It's an odd question. And he says, I would say just yes. So again, this is who Barrera is, and this is what they're doing to our schools. They are saying that the children have these constitutional rights above parents' rights. So parents have no rights to their child, according to Barrera and Thurman and Gavin Newsom. Children have rights, but parents don't have rights. This is where this has gone. And this is why you need to go to school board meetings. This is why you need to make sure and go to elections and vote for people like Sonia Shaw. This is why you need to vote for Justin Aguirre and Todd Frazier, so that we bring some common sense back to our education system. And even if, say, you take your kids out or you don't have kids, this is important to everybody in the state of California. This is important to everybody in our community that they get involved, because these children grow to be adults, and they're going to be indoctrinated in this nonsense where they believe socialism is actually good, as we can see in our nation today. They're going to believe that what they've been told over the years is that police officers have killed thousands of black men over the last couple of years, which is obviously not true. But they've been able to talk children into believing that. They're going to talk kids into ICE has been going into schools and taking kids out of classrooms, which has never happened anywhere in the United States of America, ever. But yet we had walkouts because the teachers union and teachers in the schools, like at El Dorado High School, teachers were telling the students that ICE is going into schools and taking children out of schools. And so what did we get? We got a bunch of walkouts across our district, which was a lie and not true. Trying to say that parents don't have rights, but children do, is crazy. Just one last thing. I raise my children in a little bit of a socialist society, and I have a reason why I do that. I don't do it at the end of a gun. I don't do it by force necessarily. There's repercussions by understanding that they live in a socialist society here. And what I'm trying to tell you is that what I teach my kids from the time that they can speak and understand that there's things in their rooms, or that I give them gifts, is that I teach them that none of those things, none of the things in the house, nothing in their room, the inside of their room, their bed, their pillow, the toothpaste that they use to brush their teeth, none of that is theirs. It all belongs to me. Their phones belong to me. Their cars belong to me. The food that's in the refrigerator belongs to me. Everything belongs to me. And I raise them to understand that. Because what I want them to do is have a desire to go out when they become adults to get their own things, that they no longer live in a socialist society like they do when they're in my house. It's really important that everything comes through me. Permission to go out with their friends, permission to stay until a certain time of night. We have 360 on their phones. I can go onto their phones or onto their iPads, onto their computers at any time that I want. I need to know the passwords, that they have no freedoms. They have no rights. That is a fact. And I have a great relationship with my kids. My kids, as far as they tell me that they love me. They know that I love them. But those things are important because I want them to have the freedom when they become adults to work hard. My kids start working at 15 years of age. I have a child, a son who's 12. He's been working since he's been 10. He goes around the neighborhoods and asks what he can do for the neighbors and makes a lot of money doing it. My daughters have all worked. They've all had jobs during high school And some of them play sports. My son played sports and had a job and went to school. And now he's in the U.S. Army, working very hard. So that's how I deal with this in my home. And so the idea, when I read this, the children's rights, no, I need to know if my child wants to be called by a name of the opposite sex. I want to know if my child is struggling with a mental health issue like transgenderism or same-sex attraction. I'm the father. I have the right to know what my children are doing. I have a responsibility to my children to raise them to understand what is right and what is wrong. And in my case, according to the Bible too. So this is nonsense that parents have no rights, but the children have rights or have more rights than their parents. And that's what's happening in the schools. That's what's happening in our state. That's what's happening in the education center. So hope that's helpful in a way. Let me know with your comments on YouTube and share and subscribe. Please, I would really appreciate it. And I will see you at the next one. Okay, my friends. Talk to you later. Take care. Bye.